I have to say that the government that I'm honoured to serve in divided up the old finance ministry into basically an expenditure control ministry, which they gave to me, and a taxation and microfinance or macroeconomic ministry, which is in the hands of my colleague, the Minister for Finance. In a way, I understand the notion of spending as opposed to gathering money. My colleague says his job is to raise taxes and my job is to spend the money. So I'm in Mrs. Bresso's corner on that. Unfortunately, we do need to raise the taxes. The number of regions and organisations represented here today, and I've looked through the list, underscores the importance of the debate on how the finance and economic crisis has impacted on investment in cities and regions throughout Europe. We all need to identify what innovative solutions there are for maximising the impact for investment now in recovering these areas. 2013 marks the 40th anniversary of Ireland's accession to the European Union. Membership of the Union has played a considerable role in Ireland's economic, social and political development over the last 4 decades. Over recent years, the European Union has been a key partner in our difficult path to recovery. During those recent years, we have faced in Ireland a difficult challenge in repairing our economy and broken public finances. But we faced up to that challenge and are confident that we can lead Ireland back to normal market funding and to sustainable growth in living standards this year. We're taking tough decisions. We've implemented a consolidation strategy that is correcting our deficit while allowing economic growth to be maintained in Ireland. The progress we have made has rebuilt the trust of the markets and our European partners in the Irish government's ability to put our house in order and keep our house in order. With 85% of the necessary consolidation implemented, we're in sight of completion of the programme of financial assistance. It is vitally important at this stage, however, that reform fatigue, and it's much evidenced in Ireland and across the Union, is not allowed to derail us. We have to give our citizens hope that the tough steps that have been taken are the right path. So having returned to growth last year, we've achieved a second year of growth this year. In recent months, the labour market has also provided some causes for optimism. Data from the recent labour market survey show that seasonally adjusted employment increased in the last 2 quarters of last year. As is typical in small, open economies such as ours, the traded sector is leading the recovery, with the services sector playing an increasingly significant role in export growth, owing much to the significant price and cost adjustments which have taken place in our economy. While our central objective is to control public expenditure and bring our budget back on track, we are also committed to reforming how government works so that we can maximise the returns on every tax euro. We also need to drive down the cost of public services through better practices, more streamlined delivery systems. It is precisely for that reason that I indicated that we set up a new department that I have the honour of leading, a Department of Public Expenditure and, equally importantly, Reform. 2013 also marks the 7th time that Ireland has assumed the presidency of the European Council of Ministers. This is an opportunity that Ireland has always valued. It gives us an opportunity to demonstrate that we are a constructive and committed member state that belongs at the heart of European decision-making. Ireland is a country in recovery, helping to drive the recovery of all. I'd like to acknowledge the role the Committee of the Regions has played and is continuing to play in that recovery. and I welcome the important and continuing involvement of the committee in a range of dossiers under the Irish presidency. Ireland is actively represented on the committee by members, many of whom I've known well at regional level at home. This ensures that regional and other subnational interests are represented at the heart of the European Union. At the beginning of March, President Valcartel was in Dublin for a major conference organised by the committee on the agenda of new skills and jobs. While in Dublin, President Valcartel also had the opportunity to meet with the Irish Prime Minister, Enda Kenny. The Dublin conference highlighted the fact that Ireland is holding the presidency of the Council at a time of great challenge, not only for Ireland, but for all of the Union. Citizens across Europe have faced very difficult years, and now justifiably they expect leadership from the governments to deliver economic growth, more jobs and sustainability. That is why the core objectives of the Irish presidency programme are promoting stability, jobs and growth. In the years ahead, investment in Europe's regions and cities will be crucial in ensuring the theme of stability, jobs and growth is not only maintained but sustained into the future. During our presidency, we are pleased that we've been able to work with the committee on its opinions on the synergies between private investment and public funding at local and regional level. The opinion presented by Roderick Gwynne Thomas is an important contribution to the debate around the use of public-private partnerships and financial instruments, and I want to thank Rodri for his work. The opinion highlights the challenges of stimulating economic recovery across the Union and are key in the helping of future confidence in the economy, as well as the contribution that public-private partnerships and financial instruments can make. It also acknowledges the important role of the European Investment Bank. I too recognise the crucial role of the European Investment Bank as the EU's long-term financing institution and its expertise and knowledge in the development and implementation of a range of financial instruments in cooperation with the European Commission. Ireland is very open to the possibilities offered by such instruments, but recognises the many obstacles that can exist to their effective use, including the availability of finance and the complexity of the instruments themselves. We are keen to explore the option of using financial instruments in the next cohesion policy round 2014 to 2020, and we are actively investigating whether there is both scope and need for utilising these instruments under the new regional operational programmes. To that end, Ireland invited the European Investment Bank last year to undertake a Jessica feasibility study. This study, which has been conducted by PwC and Arup, is almost complete, and the findings will feed into the preparations for the Regional Operations Programme. In the next programming period, it is essential that the European Structural and Investment Funds are used in conjunction with European Investment Bank funds and financing sourced from government and the private sector to ensure an optimum leveraging for EU and EIB funds while securing economic growth and all-important job creation. Cohesion spending lies at the heart of the growth agenda and will be one of the primary instruments available to the Union to drive investment and to promote growth and jobs in the years ahead. 40 years' experience has taught us that cohesion policy is and remains one of the success stories of the Union. It lies at the heart of European integration, at the heart of European solidarity, and it proves that these words have meaning across the Union. It has played a major role in reducing social and economic disparities, increasing cohesion in a union of 500 million people in 27 member states and 271 regions. The financial instruments from the EU budget are important leverages to member states to bring about change and to encourage developments in the regions. The Irish experience of cohesion funding has been very positive, with cohesion policy playing an important role in the development of our economy right over the last 40 years. We are now approaching what I hope will be the final stage in the negotiation of the Cohesion Legislative Package 2014-2020. In January, I set out our objectives as a presidency of reaching agreement with the Parliament by the conclusion of our presidency in June. That remains the case. I have, of course, always been conscious that far-reaching political agreement in that time frame is challenging. Nevertheless, I am committed to working collaboratively with the Parliament in what I believed is a shared objective. The Irish presidency is also committed to working with the Parliament to reach agreement on the MFF under our presidency. And I take very much to heart what Madame Bresso has said. So I want to welcome the start this afternoon of formal trialogues. Over the last 4.5 months, we've made progress on many files, including the Youth Guarantee, economic governance, banking union legislation, the single market, and external trade. With 7 weeks remaining, we are now intensifying our efforts to deliver on our core objectives. We're working closely and cooperatively with all our partners and all other EU institutions. The agenda for today's conference promises an interesting and informative day. I'm looking forward to hearing the views of all the speakers and participants listed. And once again, I want to thank the organisers for their invitation to me to be here and to speak with you on the really important issue of how we can work collectively and collaboratively to develop ideas on stability, growth and jobs. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Minister, for, I think, a very stimulating and positive